right problems, which is the way this day has gone. So for the last 24 hours, it has been this period of me having a little bit of faith. Let's just put it that way. And does anybody here have the voice that Teresa was talking about, that inner voice that talks to you and tells you what to do? Everyone understand what she was talking about? Yeah? So I have a talk that I've done hundreds of times. I did in Toronto. And I could do it perfectly. Slam down, I will make you cry, I would make sure you have Kleenexes, I would make you laugh. I would almost guarantee that I could do that. Yesterday afternoon, my little voice says, you can't do that talk. I'm like, it's tomorrow. You have got to be wrong because it's tomorrow. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And so my little voice says, I'm going to give you a line, and that's all you get. And for the last 24 hours, I've been trying to get past that line and haven't been able to. So this message is brought to you by the universe. The message is, it is better to do the right thing imperfectly than to do the wrong thing perfectly. I'm going to just repeat that in case anybody missed it or you're trying to write it down like I do when I hear a really good nugget. And again, this is from the universe. It is better to do the right thing imperfectly than the wrong thing perfectly. So, I have always been that person who's a planner. I was a financial planner for 23 years. Spreadsheets, who's into spreadsheets? Who likes lists? Oh, yes, now we're talking lists, right? You know why we have lists? It's so that we can feel in a world that we have absolutely no control, that we have a little bit of control, right? And who uses Post-it notes? Yay, now I don't feel so bad. Because I use Post-it notes for two reasons. One, because I want to remember what I need to do next because I'm getting old and it's getting harder and harder to remember. And two, they're pretty now. You can get them in all colors. So my office is all with all these pretty rainbow colors, and it just makes me happy that I know that I don't have to force myself to remember something. But how many of you in this room today are waiting because something's not perfect yet? Come on, there's more of you than this. So what you do is you do something like this. I'm going to launch my product when my website looks amazing. Anybody done that? Right? It can't look ugly. Come on, we cannot introduce this product to the world and my website look ugly. So you'll wait months, sometimes even years, before you launch that product because it doesn't look perfect. How many of you have delayed doing something because you don't look perfect? Maybe had a few of those donuts that we were talking about earlier. That's me. Maybe you don't feel like at this point in time you have the self-confidence that you need. Maybe not the right clothes. Just so you know, this is plan B here, was not plan A, because this is the way the day is going. There is no perfection in me today, and I'm just trying to inspire you to realize that you don't have to be perfect. These are not my brand colors. This is wrong. I should be in gold, or black, or white. I'm doing it all wrong. Don't you know this? Wear your brand colors, for goodness sakes. Don't go out in pink when you have gold and black as your brand colors. But that outfit is now in my laundry room, and I'm wearing pink today. How many of you know who you want to be when you grow up? How many of you are being who you want to be when you grow up? How many of you need to figure it out? I'll be 55 this summer, so there's no pressure on your younger ones. It actually took me 46 years to figure it out. When I was 18, I've always wanted to be a writer. Anybody here want to be a writer? Anybody here been a writer since they were little and that was their profession? Oh, I need to come talk to you. Because when I was 18 and I told my family I wanted to be a writer, what they said to me, you can't be a writer. You can't make any money. You know, it's a 1 in a million shot. You like pretty things. You can't be a writer, right? And in an hour, I went from having the dream of being a writer to going into business for university. Now, for the longest time, I blamed my family. I said, they stole my dream, right? How many of you blaming somebody right now? They stole my dream. If they hadn't done that, I would be this. But this is what I discovered. They didn't steal my dream. I'd wanted to be a writer for so long. I was scared of failing. So I just hopped on that old listen to my family and be a really good daughter, and then I never have to fail as a writer, right? I can go the safe zone. So I went in the direction that my family and society said. I became a financial advisor, top performer, award winner, had the house, had the car, had the shoes, had the trips, and then I lost it all in 2008. I'm talking about all. So now, in retrospect, I'm a little bit bummed out because I was told not to be a writer because I would be poor, and I did the opposite and was poor. And I didn't really enjoy the last few years of being a financial advisor. I have to admit, that whole emptiness that some of the speakers have talked about, that, successful, not satisfied, that was me. So if there's one thing I can say to you today is, don't wait for it to be perfect, because it's never going to be. And if you want me to go over the last 24 hours for more examples, I'm happy to. But I want you right now, most of you have notes, you have a pen in front of you. I want you to write down the one thing that you want to be perfect at, or the one thing you want to be perfect, the one thing you're waiting for you to do whatever it is that you want. And it may be you're waiting to figure out what you want to be when you grow up before you do anything. But yet, you're really not doing anything about figuring out what you want to be when you grow up. So what's the one thing? If I just had this, what's the lucky break for you? Do you have one? Anybody have a lucky break? Come on. Lotto 649, anybody? Right? Is that your lucky break? Lotto 649. Who thinks that they will live their dream if they won Lotto 649 this weekend? That money is the only thing that's keeping you between where you are now and where you want to go. What difference will it make?
It'll just take away some of the barriers that are there now. It's not to say they couldn't do it now. Like, work towards it, and I'm trying to. But boy, it would just make it that much easier.
Ooh, the word easy. How many want to have it easy? Right? You like it hard? That's what I thought I heard. Sorry, people. I'm like, this is a different summit than I was expecting. Just saying. Wow. So now that my face is pink too, let's go back to what we're talking about, which is you all doing what you want to do and you reaching the highest version of yourself. And as women, we put ourselves at the back of the line. I did that for almost 3 decades. when my kids get older, who's waiting for their kids to move out? It is a wonderful time when they move out. I always feel like such a bad mom because I'm celebrating, even though one's in university and she'll be coming back at some point in time. But all these moms who say, oh, I miss them so much, I can't wait till they come home on the weekends. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm not going to share my experience. Even though I love them. I love them all, and they're remarkable people, and they're all chasing their dreams. I still love being at home alone with my husband. Just saying. So back to you. So how are you going to determine what you want to be when you grow up? So the first thing you need to do is you need to decide. And if you don't have a big decision in your heart right now, go back to the beginning. I always tell my clients, you're looking for clarity, go back to the last point you had clarity. Some of us, the last time we had clarity about what we want to be or who we want to be is when we were between the ages of 5 and 10. Because back then, we had no responsibility. We could be selfish. We didn't have any bills to pay. So if you have absolutely no idea, look at what you were like when you were a kid. Boy, I've got stuff started all over the place. Look at all these conversations going on. Start where the last time you really knew who you were and what you wanted. And it's simple things like, were you sociable? Like on all of your report cards like mine, did it say, Darlene's a wonderful student, but she won't shut up? Does anyone else have that? Oh, we are sisters, right? But yet, the two sisters that I have, I come from a family of 7, 6 girls, 1 boy, and don't tell me poor boy because he was a prince. So the sister that was just younger than me and the sister that was just older than me, they were both shy. And sometimes the teachers would go, are you sure you're Darlene's sister? So if you're a person who being sociable is not your thing, then you know wherever you're going, it's somewhere where it's quiet and it's not about people. I have to have it about people. It's just who I am. I also like to talk. Can you tell? So I knew that whatever I was going to do, I had to have the ability to talk. I also like attention. That comes from being from a family of 7. Attentions were scarce. So whenever you could get attention, you worked on it. So go through the list of things, how you were like when you were a child, and that will help you discover who you want to be. Or what gets you really jazzed up? And I mean both negatively and positively, because passion can come from both a negative and a positive place. So if you're the type of person where you get really upset about the number of children out in the world that are working, that are 5 and 6 and 7, and you get riled up and you want to send money to organizations and stuff like that, that might be an avenue for you. If you're a type of person who you sew, that is not me, so if you say yes, you're not my sister. I almost failed home ec. My mom saved me by sewing my project for me. But if you sew and you get lost in it for hours, then maybe that's where you need to go. I can tell you this much. There is not one profession or occupation that you can throw at me right now that there isn't somebody somewhere in the world making over $1 million doing it. Not one. You think about it. So don't tell me you can't be a writer because you'll never make money at it. Because right now, I'm a sought-after copywriter, and I make more money per hour than any of my siblings ever did. Not even close. They were wrong, and I believed them. You can make the money that you need to provide for your family and to achieve the goals that you want to achieve doing anything. You just have to decide. You have to believe. That's the hard part. Because as soon as you state you're going to do something, there's someone's going to want to knock you down. You have to believe. Like a lot of speakers said earlier, you have to take a step. You have to take some sort of action because the universe will not help you until you take your first step. And then you have to release the how to the universe. Because I read somewhere that the human mind can only have 6 to 10 options of action at any one time. That's as much as we can process. The universe has an infinite number of ways. So why are you betting on the 6 to 10 when you can have an infinite number of ways to reach your goals? Take your step, the next logical step. What is the next logical step? If you know it, write it down. What's your next logical step? And I dare you, I double dare you, that in the next 48 hours, you take that step. And I'll tell you right now, if you do take the step that you've just written down and you send me an email, I will send you either one of my books for free and mail it to your address. You can choose. Okay? That's how much I know that very few of you will actually do it. Some people call me smart. But here's the thing. I will hold that for the next 48 hours, till Monday night at midnight. You email me, this is the step I was going to take, this is what I did, and this is what happened. This is the book I want. I will send it to you. Deal? Okay. Perfect. What else do you need? Okay, maybe I'm not that smart. Okay, email Darlene, that's how you spell it, Darlene, at Darlene Butts, DarleneButts.com. Now, some of you are in this room right now and you're thinking, I want to take that next step, but I'm really scared. And I'm going to close off and just let you know what happened to me last summer. Yeah, 3 minutes. Whew. Let's see if I can do it. We ready? Okay. Last year I decided I wanted to write a book about Canadians so that I could inspire the next generation to know that you could do anything you wanted to do here in Canada. And I decided that I wanted to travel across Canada talking to Canadians because they're humble. They have a really hard time sharing their story. How many of you have found that out with here in Canada? They're like, I don't have a really good story. I don't know why you'd want to talk to me. But I did live off the coast of Newfoundland as a kid because my father was the lightkeeper in a lighthouse. But it's not really that special. So I'm sure you don't want to put that in the book. So, as you know, I lost everything. So when I decided that this is what I was going to do, I had no way to do it. So let's just make this clear. I didn't really have any options on how to do it. So the first people I told were people very close to me, and the reply that I got, which I will never forget these words, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this when you've shared your dream. What I was told is logistically impossible. So there was no muddy waters there. It was just like, it's not happening. I did not have enough money. I did not have an RV, and I wanted to travel on an RV. My husband did not have enough time off work, did not have enough vacation time. I had no idea where to go. Even though I'd been across Canada several times as a kid, I wasn't paying attention to where we stayed or how we stayed. And so, what I did was I took the one step I knew to do. I only had one option, and that was to send an email to all of my friends and family and say, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, if you want to hop on board, these are some of the things that we need. And from that step, I took another step, and I took another step, and it was miracle after miracle after miracle. My husband and I, he was with me the whole trip, we traveled over 30,000 kilometers. We went from Point Pelee in the south all the way to Inuvik, Northwest Territories, which is above the Arctic Circle. For those of you who've never heard of it, I had never heard of it before. From Tofino to Cape Spears, as far east as you can get in North America. And I did it on a wing and a prayer and one step at a time. And if I had believed that it was logistically impossible, which in reality kind of was, but if I would have believed that, I would have missed out on some of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. I went to Inuvik and ended up staying with people who were supposed to be strangers but ended up knowing my kids. And we end up sitting out at 10:30 at night on the deck with the sun way up high, drinking beer and having nachos. That's an experience I don't think a lot of you have had. Have you? Who's drank beer at 10:30 at night in Inuvik? I also, the last half of the trip, got to spend it with my 3 adult children. And we sat and watched the sunrise in Cape Spear, which means we were the very first people to see the sunrise in North America, while 5 whales just swam silently, and every once in a while you just hear them spout, with about 5 or 6 other people. Logistically impossible, my ass. So if you, thank you. So if you ever put your dream out there and somebody says something like that to you, please remember me. Please know, just take whatever steps you can, and eventually some really crazy, great, miraculous stuff will happen. I can't wait to get all your emails. Thank you.